Hi, readers. We are going to look at chapters 1 and 2 for how to eat fried worms. We're going to go back over and check for understanding for chapters 1 and 2 and look back at the questions that we looked at and thought about while we were reading yesterday. In the beginning of chapter 1, Alan and Billy asked Tom where he was last night. Why was Tom not with his friends last night? Well, if we go back into the beginning of the text, my mom kept me in. What for? I wouldn't eat my dinner. Alan sat down on the step below Tom and began to chew his thumbnail. What was it, salmon casserole? So, Tom was not able to be with his friends last night because his mom kept him in because he wouldn't eat dinner. The next question asked us, how much does Alan bet Billy for? How must Billy eat the worms? Well, let's go back in and we see I bet I'd eat 15 worms if somebody'd bet me $100. You really want to bet? I'll bet you $50 you can't eat 15 worms. I really will. Where are you going to get $50? In my savings account. So right here, it tells us that he'd eat 15 worms and he's going to bet it for $50. Now, let's go back and let's see what does he have to do to make the worm? What does he have to do when he's eating the worm? Well, at the end of the text, it tells us that I can use ketchup or mustard or anything like that as much as I want. Alan nodded. Okay. Billy stood up. So he's able to put ketchup and mustard on the worms when he's eating them. Also, in our question, and he can eat them any way he wants, said Tom. Boiled, stewed, fried, fricasseed. So those were different ways that he could prepare the worm to eat them, that Billy would let him prepare the worm. Now, if we go back to our questions, what were the conditions of the bet? Where would Alan get the money if he lost the bet? So, if we go back into the text, we saw that if he lost the bet, he would get the money from his savings account. In my savings account, I've got $130.79 in my account. And then he's saying, but your mom wouldn't let you take it out. And he had said that he would be able to, because if he lost the bet and she found out, that he would let her do that. All right, now the other part of our question asked us, what were the conditions of the bet? So let's go and find out, what were the conditions? What does that mean, readers? It means, what would he have to do in order for the bet to happen? So Joe tells them that they would provide the worms, and that there would have to be a witness present when he eats them. So do you notice, readers, how we're going back into the text and finding text evidence based on the questions that we're reading? And finally, the last question asked us, why did Billy want to win the bet? So what was his reasoning for wanting to win the bet? If we go back in to the text, we can see that I think I have to take off the pen to get it scroll down. There we go. I'm just learning how to try to annotate while going along. he could buy that mini bike George Cunningham's brother had promised to sell him in September before he went away to college. So, if he won the bet, he would be able to get the mini bike. So, Billy wants to win the bet so he can get the mini bike. So that's, readers, how we can go back into the text to look for and understand, to make sure we're understanding the questions that are being asked of us. Now, context clues. We use context clues to help us figure out unknown words. One strategy that I want us to look at today is when you look around the word, you look in the sentences before and after for clues that will help you make an inference, using the author's clues to help you figure out the meaning of the word. So our word today is measly. After all, thought Tom, Billy couldn't expect to win $50 by just gulping down a few measly little baby worms. Well, in this, readers, the word, if we look around it, we see the word few. Few means, and let me make that a little, there we go. We see the word few. Few means not very many. So a few measly little baby worms. So a very small amount. Now, how do we go and do our summary? We use the strategy somebody, wanted, but, so, then, and finally to help us as readers. So the somebody is who is the somebody? Alan and Billy wanted to make a bet with Billy to eat 50 worms. But Billy wants to decide what's on the worm, and Joe and Alan get to find the worm. So Joe and Alan dig in a mud pile. Then they find a large night crawler. Remember we said a night crawler is a large worm. Finally, Joe and Alan want Billy to eat the night crawler. This is a strategy we are going to be using. To fill out our summary. You can pause the video right now and get your folder for How to Eat Fried Worms to fill in your summary. If you have any questions, please contact your homeroom teacher. So you should be filling in your summary right now. Make sure on the top of your page you put we've read chapters 1. This is for chapters 1 and 2. So somewhere on the top of your page, it says summary, and for what chapters, you want to make sure you put it down that it is for chapters 1 and 2. So it should be for chapters 1 and 2. If you have any questions, please contact your homeroom teacher.